Raëlism, the space sex cult. So these are Raëlists, this is Raël. These guys believe that aliens called Elohim created humanity using technology. They also believe that any accounts of God or gods are actually accounts of Elohim on Earth. They have this idea that they can achieve immortality through human cloning, and that world peace can be achieved with advanced technology. The Raëlists say that once the world gets advanced and peaceful enough, the Elohim will come back down and give us a pat on the back and a gold star for being so darn cool. In fact, they're currently trying to build an embassy for the Elohim that would incorporate a landing pad for their ship. Dang man, I want a spaceship, that'd be sick. Hey Elohim, where's my space Bugatti? According to the Raëlists, Jesus, Muhammad, and Buddha are Elohim/human hybrids and also prophets. Hey, I didn't come up with it, they did. The 40th and last of these prophets is a guy named Raël. Raël claims he was contacted by the Elohim and given secret esoteric knowledge. Wow, where have we heard this before? Literally every cult ever? He first published these claims in his 1974 book, Le Livre qui dit la vérité, or in English, The Book That Tells the Truth. Oh yeah, Raël is French by the way. Naturally, after receiving this esoteric knowledge, he started a cult. The cult was organized into a hierarchical structure with 7 levels, one of which is level 0, so the actual highest level is level 6. People in level 0 are trainees. Just guys off the street trying to hop into the cult. In level 1, you have assistant organizers, which are assistants to, you guessed it, level 2, the organizers, who organize trainees. After this, it gets similar to the Catholic Church structure. Kinda. All the following positions are considered to be guides. People in level 3 are assistant priests, and people in level 4 are priests. Level 5, you have bishops. The people in level 6 are, well, there's really only one person in level 6, and it's Raël. Definitely not a narcissist. He's known as both the planetary guide and the guide of guides, so like a who delivers the mail to the mailman type situation. So anyway, 3 of those bishops sit on the Council of the Wise, A+ for creativity. And they basically are the Supreme Court of the cult. They monitor heresy and execute punishment, the most common of which is excommunication. However, unlike in normal religions, excommunication in the Raëlian cult only lasts for 7 years, which is how long it takes for the human body to replace every cell, making you technically a new person? Which I guess makes a little sense. Not a lot, but I kinda get it. It's a Theseus's ship kind of deal. In more severe cases, they do a demarking, which is when they cancel the transmission of cellular code. I have no idea what that is or how they do that exactly, but they believe it revoked a person's ability to clone themselves and become immortal. I feel like they just point a TV remote at someone and pretend they're doing that, Men in Black memory erase thing, but instead it doesn't really do anything. Anyway, after getting a bunch of members and, more importantly, member dues, the Raëlists were able to purchase a country estate in France, which they promptly abandoned when they moved to Quebec. Unlike most cults, these membership dues, or tithes, though encouraged, were completely optional. A 1991 survey of Raëlians found that 33% of the respondents admitted that they chose not to pay dues, while in an interview, Raël suggested that as many as 60% were likely not paying. Still, many did, and those who did were encouraged to pledge 10% of their yearly income. 30% of dues were given to the national branch, and 70% would go to the central administration. Sometimes a small portion will go directly to Raël, though usually around 1%. Which, let's be honest, it's definitely quite a bit of money. Having amassed followers in both France and Quebec, the organization grew to be pretty wealthy. With their newfound wealth, they released many, many more books, and focused on spreading their ideas further. Abroad, the Raëlians sent missions to Japan, Africa, and Australia to find more followers. Raël's wife left him shortly thereafter, and he began a new relationship with a Japanese Raëlian. My brother in Elohim, you have yellow fever. Back in Quebec, they bought a ton of land, where they opened a museum called UFO Land to try and raise money for that space embassy with, the landing pad. Apparently, pretty much no one went to it, because it shut down only 4 years later. At the same time, the Raëlians were doing some much crazier stuff. So here, we have a guy who is convinced that cloning himself will grant him immortality. This same guy also has a stupid amount of money and loyal followers. Naturally, or I guess naturally in his mind, he created a whole genetics lab dedicated to cloning people. This announcement brought a lot of attention to the organization, and, of course, a lot of controversy. The cult got so much attention that both Raël and his bishop Boisselier were invited to speak in front of the master saxophoner himself, Bill, I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Clinton, about human cloning. Now, everything up to this point has been strange, but at this point in the story, it starts to get really strange. You see, the Elohim had reached back out to Raël and told him to make a new, super secret society within the Raëlians. Oh, and no boys allowed, by the way. You know, cooties and all that. This was called the Order of Raël's Angels. Apparently, the Elohim are very gentle, delicate, and sensitive, and talking to men besides for Raël would make them implode immediately. Okay, I made up the implosion part. But apparently this all-female group is the only group worthy of speaking to the Elohim when they arrive. They are instructed to meditate and pray often for their soul, and to avoid meat, sugar, and carbs for their figure. Just like the regular organization, it has 6 tiers, which I won't list because I'm tired. Just know that the pink and gold ribbon angels are the top dogs in this arrangement. They live in special living quarters where non-angels are not allowed to enter. Pink and gold angels are forbidden from having sexual partners until the Elohim arrive. However, Raël, being such a generous soul, made an exception and taught them the ins and outs of alien lovemaking so that they were ready for the Elohim. The angels were also allowed to engage in sex alone or with each other. Basically, Raël is the final boss of toxic, possessive, and manipulative boyfriends. Raël's depravity did not end with alien gaslight sex, by the way. He married a 16-year-old in 2001, divorced her the same year, and still stayed in a relationship with her after the divorce. So yeah, he was a pedophile too. The next year, someone vandalized the property in Quebec, and Raël claimed that it was because of a joint operation between the CIA and France to assassinate him using brainwashed schizos. He called it the Abraham Project. The following years, the group would go on to gain lots of press and ridicule for making several hoax announcements about successfully cloning a human baby. Despite the ridicule and the overwhelming evidence of them lying, the group gained a lot of new members with every announcement. And yeah, that's basically where we're at today. Yes, this group is still out there and in operation. Isn't that fucking crazy? Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been Blue Chair Weird History. Catch you later.